Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Fuck Off. I do the intros and the outros. You get to fucking play the game. Oh my god.
Yeah. My bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode of the Dicey D20. I'm your host, DM Noah, and I'm joined here by our players Tyson McKay.
Hello.
Our Bright Lord, Rogar Ragnak.
Yo, yo.
And of course, our favorite player of the podcast. Well, my personal favorite, to be honest.
Oh, it's the name.
Yeah. I hand out the most inspo points to Fievel Mousentrouve.
That's not true.
Let's do this. Let's kick some hag ass.
Before we begin, do any of our players have any questions, comments, or concerns?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, excellent. I just always want to check. We didn't have any level ups in the house.
The silence spell is still on me.
The silence spell is not still on you. You had walked out of the house. Would anyone like to give, from the players' mouths, a little recap of what went down last episode?
Well, the way that Fievel saw it.
Jeez. He was oppressed.
Yes. Obviously, there's a lot of legs and feet in my my view, and I mean, looking down at people was the gist of it once I hopped on Jack Bauer. But pretty much, we had a choice of what we had to do. The majority of the team went with Oren's vote to go see the hag, or witch, or whatever that ugly thing is.
Grandmother.
Yeah, Granny Addie. I know her name. I forget if it's a witch or a hag. But anyway, so we took that, followed through day's ride about, and got there. There's a whole parade and everything. That was pretty exciting.
That's what you took away from this.
we learned the true backstory of Fievel.
Yes, I revealed my true backstory. If you forget it, just zoom back to the other episode. Give it another listen.
We're going to have to change the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, turns out there was no human slaughtered his tribe. He wanted to be king, they said no, so he alluded to the fact that he killed them all. We're not sure if it's true or not. So that's a good place to... Granny Addie gave you guys a choice. She said, I'll tell you all you want to know if you help me. She had a falling out with some of her hag sisters, and since then has been just dying to get her hands on another coven, to get that magical rule of 3 back into play. So she wants 2 more hags. She gave, or asked, I should say, our Bright Lord, Rogar Ragnak, and only Rogar Ragnak, to sprinkle some mysterious powder over 2 small children in a nearby mining town called Grey Tips. In this town,
put on the list.
Can you repeat that? It sounds like Grey
It's
Tips.
chili powder, Seb.
It's not chili powder, and it's called Grey Tips. Son of a bitch. And she was truthful, and as you guys know from your little nat 20 there for your lore of hags, they cannot lie. She said that the father was killed in a mining accident. The mother, very sickly, gave birth to twin daughters. And hags are kind of superstitious. They kind of believe that twins is a precursor to some pretty great magical power that they can gain once they are hags. So she asked only the Bright Lord, only the super good guy, Rogar Ragnak, to go ahead and do this. But the team didn't know what they wanted to do, so they hopped out of the hag's lair, her large willow tree, and they decided to have a little chat about what it is that they wanted to do. Those very large golems were standing right outside, staring you guys down, and you're now over by your carts, which are thick, wheels covered in mud. The horses kind of seem restless. They whinny and neigh, and their eyes look wild, like they're kind of spooked by just the atmosphere of this hag's little tiny clearing outcropping in the swamp. I now leave it up to our players to have a conversation, decide what are they going to do. Are they going to follow Granny Addie's instructions and get the information that they came for? Is Fievel Mousentrouve going to take Granny Addie up on her offer to heal Arta? And is Tyson McKay going to be able to restrain himself from burning the whole bitch down to the ground? So, it's up to you guys.
The tree or the hag?
Oh.
Either one.
First off, horses going wild. Let's use some wild empathy on them and calm them down a notch, you know?
Man.
Pop.
You know what? I said I gave him the most inspiration points, but this is actually playing very much to Fievel's character, you know? So I will give an inspiration point for this. I think it's very much him to use his Beastmaster influence over the horses. So you use wild empathy. Could you, do you have to roll for that, or what's the deal there?
I guess, yeah, so I'd have to roll and see how well I do it. So, like, obviously it's like this mouse walking over to a fucking horse, like, neighing and shit, and then I'm just gonna have to use my God knows what the mouse does. But anyway, let's see what happens.
You're kind of influencing them with magic, but you're also, like, calming them down. You're doing, like, the nurturing thing. Are horses, am I remembering this incorrectly, are they not fucking terrified of mice?
Everyone's terrified of Fievel.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's elephants.
Oh, elephants are terrified of mice. Okay. I knew it was something. Okay.
Toads love mice.
Yeah, they love to eat them.
Little known fact.
This is obviously a digression. We can continue on. Fievel, you're about to roll.
Okay, rolling. 7?
The horses do not seem swayed by your magical influence. They definitely focus on you a little bit more now. They stop whinnying and neighing. They're kind of like staring at you, but they're not calm by any means.
Okay,
Time to cook them.
I take off my shirt.
You take off your shirt.
You have a shirt.
I don't know.
Are you not wearing armor?
I am. I'm gonna leave it on. That was just a joke. Okay.
I thought this was part of the Beastmaster act. I don't know.
I'm gonna call Fireman to carry me. Maybe if I get to like head level with these horses, something different will happen.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna allow it.
Yo, Fireman,
Yeah, what's up?
carry me.
How does this help with the egg?
Lift me up. It'll help. I promise.
Can you tell me your name before I lift you up?
Oh.
Ooh.
My name is Baxter.
Roll me a deception check right now.
I'd like to roll insight on that.
There's a 17.
Okay.
Is that charisma too?
Yes, it is.
So a 19.
Okay, so that's pretty fucking convincing that his name's Baxter.
I'm gonna roll the inception. Like, just check.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
That's a
14.
12. Oh, 14.
Okay, you believe his name's Baxter. Or at least you believe that, this is the name he's giving you, right?
Awesome.
Yeah, doesn't seem like a lie to you.
All right, Baxter. Nice to meet you finally. I'm Tyson.
I didn't ask.
God.
Lift me up, please.
Okay. Where would you like me to put you?
In front of the horses, like I'm a show mouse.
Like
and
Simba?
Yes.
God damn.
Okay.
It's a circle of life, people.
Okay. I pick him up.
Okay, I'm not going to make you roll for that. Now, you're now No, you're not. You're very much eye level with the horses now. So, what would you like to
do?
Yeah, maybe I'll move me closer to the horses. I want to be able to like touch both of them with my hands, like one on each head.
There are 3 horses.
There's 3 of them. Okay, my tail could touch the 3rd one.
Oh my gosh! Again with the fucking tail.
I'm making this work.
Okay, sure.
I can't strangle people, but I can touch. That's what I'm going for.
That is not.
No, we could have been so much further in this campaign.
What?
Stop it. The horses need help. Okay.
I don't do anything. But
That's a 14.
Your wild empathy does work on the horses. They seem unnaturally calm for the pretty scary scenario that they find themselves in.
That's good. Okay.
Orin looks to you and says, "Thanks for calming the horses, but can we get back to business now?"
I turn around.
Well,
I turn him around.
Turn me, please.
I turn him.
Okay.
And then I give him a little dirty look.
Dirty look?
Yeah.
Me or?
No. Orin, because he told me to focus on this hag instead of my gentle beasts over here.
You know what?
Okay.
In the meantime, I'm gonna talk to the knights and I'm gonna tell them my plan.
You're going to tell them your plan?
Oh.
Yeah.
You guys have a plan?
Yeah.
I guess Brayload has a plan.
This is fucking news to me. So Orin looks to you guys and says, "What is it that you guys would like to do?"
I'll do the task, but on one condition. You guys have to make me a promise.
I suppose I guess for him, he doesn't want to unconditionally promise. So he's going to say, "May I hear it first?"
Well, after I do the task, I'm going to make an oath to save the 2 kids that I'm kidnapping, or not kidnapping, but turning into hags.
Mommy snatching.
To go back and save them. And you guys will have to help me come back and kill this hag after.
Unfortunately, my boy, if you kill the hag, it won't mean that the children won't turn when they're 13. That can't be changed. As soon as she has them in her possession, for all intents and purposes, they're hags. And I don't know of any hag magic or magic, that rivals it, which can change that fact. Perhaps there is something that the hag can do, but she wouldn't tell us.
Well, we have 13 years to decide. Find it out.
12 years and 51 weeks for sure.
Well, Fievel might not have that long. His heart might give out in a few years.
all the relentless
stress.
rage. Yeah, I was gonna say. Wears on the body.
Why do people have to provoke me so often?
You ever tried Headspace? It's a meditation app. We're sponsored by Headspace. No.
No, we're not. Don't do this. I love if Headspace hears this and they're like, I like that shout out. That's good.
Never give them a sponsorship.
So, it is Oren who looks to you and says, I'm just not sure that I can make this promise. I mean, I can help you and try to, but I'm just not sure it will have the outcome you think it will.
Okay, well, we'll decide later on. We have to save everyone else, I guess.
So Oren looks to Fievel, as does Luth, and he says, the girl. The hag says she can help.
Yes, with dark magic, though.
Dark magic might be better than her losing her life.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
I might have to go back in there and see what the offer is. If it's something that I can give up, I'll do it for sure, but other than that, it's tough.
Oren looks over to the cart where Arta is kind of restlessly turning in her unconsciousness. Obviously, she can't move very much. Pretty much every single bone is broken in her body and is in the process of healing, albeit slowly, but she looks very sickly and her breathing looks weak and shallow.
My girl.
What'd you say?
Did you say that out loud, or are you keeping that to
I'll go in the
yourself?
hut, kick this hag's ass, and then I'm gonna come out back and kick your ass.
All while I hold him.
Okay,
No, I keep
so
that to myself.
Oren looks to the Bright Lord and says, so, we're agreed.
Yes.
And then he looks to the rest of you and says, whatever happens in there, keep your cool. I don't want to fight with the grandmother hag.
Yeah, fireman.
I drop Fievel.
Fievel, roll me
Oh.
a dex check to see if you land, in a
Ooh.
17
oh, nice.
plus
Fantastic, yeah.
4. Yeah, that's a 21.
Is that a rigged dice?
He lands very nimbly on his feet and then looks to you and kind of smirks, I guess, right? Like you're just
Yeah.
giving it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'll remember that.
I'm not going back in there.
All right.
So, Oren looks to you and
walk
says,
back in.
oh, okay, sorry. Well, Oren's going to look to Fireman, Tyson McKay, and he's going to say, you're not heading back in.
I don't trust myself.
Perhaps it's best. He says, plus...
What'd you say?
He said, perhaps it's best. In
heard
addition,
him.
I don't trust the golems. The golems do not respond in any way to him saying the word golem, so he says golems, but they both just keep staring at the hut, so they don't move at all.
Cold shoulder.
Well, that or they don't understand what he's saying, so, whatever.
No.
Okay, so Tyson McKay and Luth are staying out with the cart.
Fuck, I forgot he's standing.
Oh, stop it. He's not that
Luth
bad.
is such a bro.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
He does what he's told, and like here he's just gonna stay out and back fireman up. Like, what a genuine thing to do.
If the golems attack, I'm throwing him in the... I'm running.
Oh my gosh, you're a terrible person. Okay, so it's the Bright Lord, our two Knights of the New Moon, Oren and Lothian, and Fievel, you're heading back in?
We're heading back in.
Okay. Oren walks first, and as with before, never forgetting manners, which, happen to be very important to hags,
He
to a
takes
certain
his
extent.
shoes off.
They like the illusion of politeness. No, he does not take his...
His
whatever.
hat.
No, he's not taking his shoes off.
Should I clean myself before we go in?
Oh my god. All right.
Should I clean myself before?
You're staying
watched them go
outside,
in?
so it doesn't matter. He knocks on the door once again, and the door swings open, less creakily this time, but it's still that very dark presence inside the lair. This quite large room does have that cauldron still bubbling and spitting different liquids about. All the walls covered in, again, those vials and jars of organs and other parts of animals. The head of the dwarf seems mysteriously to be looking right at the Bright Lord as he walks in. And now you guys enter, the door closing behind you, creaking. and the voice once again, this time you don't see her, only her voice, says,
Oh, God.
"Have you come to a decision?"
Show yourself.
She says, "Have you come to a decision?"
Yes. Show yourself, coward.
You're gonna get us killed!
I'm glad I stayed outside.
Okay, so a cold hand with long fingers rests itself on Fievel's small shoulder, and like the fingers, index to pinky, wrap themselves around his shoulder as a voice whispers in his ear, and as you look to your shoulder, you see materializing from invisibleness the green hand of the hag with the long fingernail. She says, "I'm always visible." She says, "Oh, don't frighten, dearie, don't frighten. Tell me, what is it you've decided?"
After you, Bright Lord.
That's her name's Granny Addie?
Correct.
Granny Addie, I will do your deed.
She takes her hand off Fievel, throws them both out magnanimously to her sides. You obviously see these long gray, brown cloaks that she's kind of wearing, and this big smile, this toothless gape, as she says, "Wonderful!"
Okay.
So, putting her hand into her cloaks, she pulls out this small vial of powder. The powder is dark black, and she places it in your hands and closes your fingers around the vial and then taps them and says, "Do take good care of that."
Okay. Will you give me a map of the location where the kids are?
She looks over to Orin, who then looks to you and says, "I know where the town is."
Okay.
Okay, she kind of walks over and she kind of busies herself with some items before she, whether feigning it or whether being serious, she whips back around and says, "Oh, dear me, I almost forgot. What about your dear girl? Is she going to be all right? I'll tell you, she didn't look well."
I'm punching her outside.
What girl?
"I believe her name is Arta?" "Yes, Arta, the lizard folk, so many broken bones, such shallow breathing. Her complexion didn't look well at all. I wonder, do you really care for her, mouse folk?"
No.
Roll me a deception check. You absolutely do care for her. She's the only person who you told your name to. These guys think your name is fucking Baxter, so...
It's not Baxter? What?
That's an 8.
Your thoughts betray you.
What do I have to do to save her?
Oh, it's not what you have to do. You don't have to do anything. The only thing I require of you is something that you would require of yourself.
My cheese addiction?
Sex?
My cheese addiction. Oh my gosh. She looks to you and says, "You would be required to live the rest of your life knowing that she will love someone else.
Oh, God.
She won't even know your name, won't remember your face, and every time you leave her sight, she will forget who you are all over again."
It's like Adam Sandler's
Perfect.
50 First Dates.
I could just slip in. This is a win-win situation.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. I have to do this. So do whatever black magic you gotta do and fix her up. I can't take it anymore.
So, how about this? The ritual will take some time to complete. Once our friend the Bright Lord has gone and come back, your friend will be healed. But you can't be inside while I do it.
Please?
If you're here, you could ruin the entire thing, my dear, so please sit outside with the others.
These
Maybe
muscles
have a good game of
get out
cards
hand.
with the golems. They do so enjoy games. So Orin looks to the Bright Lord and says, "We must make haste. Every moment wasted is a potential another loss of life of our friends."
You're right. Let's go.
With that, the green hag cackles and says, "Oh, how I love watching the good turn wicked."
Me too.
I'll be back.
Oh, God.
So, our Bright Lord is going to lose 3 light points for undertaking an evil deed.
Back to 7.
But you got a girlfriend, maybe.
Yeah, I gotta go.
No, gonna make a video, and every day she wakes up, she's gonna watch it and remember all the great times we had.
That's the one part of that fucking movie I never got. No offense, Adam Sandler. No offense. What is it? Drew? Is it Drew Barrymore?
Drew
Is that
Barrymore.
Yeah. Okay, she wakes up on a fucking boat, and upstairs on the deck is her husband and kid, and she just watches the same movie every morning. She wouldn't have like some fucking thoughts about that. Like, I don't know. Fuck that.
Yeah, and I mean, Adam Sandler would have to remember to put the tape back in the right spot every day. Like, I'm sure he fucked up a couple times, and she's like, "Where the fuck am I?"
I'm on a boat. I don't remember anything. I was taken hostage. Like, she probably just fucking kick him off the side of the boat. Call 911. Who knows? I don't know. Anyways, this is a digression as well.
That's love, though.
Is that really love?
Okay.
Well, we'll
Taking
find out
notes for Arta.
when we'll find out when the Beastmaster and Arta try and make a life together.
Oh boy.
So Orin bows. It's like literally a 3-inch bow. Like, he's just nodding with the upper half of his body towards Granny Addie, and he says, "Thank you very much for your help." And he walks towards the exit. What would you like to do?
Do I have some kind of like cheese thing in my rations?
We haven't ever discussed that.
Okay.
I'd imagine that your rations probably consist of some cheese, yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to break a piece off, and I'm going to hand it to the witch and say, "Though this was helpful for Arta, I hate your guts." And I give her the piece of cheese.
Oh, so she plucks the piece of cheese out of your hands, and she says, "A price for everything. And I don't mind if you hate me, dear. Soon you'll learn to hate yourself."
I already do. Yeah. Joke's on you.
Joke's on you, I have crippling self-doubt.
Is there a way to jump off the street?
Okay, so Brightlord and Orin, as well as Lothian, who lingers for a moment after Fievel makes his exit. Everyone exits the hag's lair. Mm-hmm. It's then up to you guys to bring Arta to her. I'm going to let Orin and Lothian do it. What would you like to do, Tyson McKay?
Oh, well, they were in the tree. I wanted to talk to Luth.
Talk to Luth. Well, you're going to have a fair amount of time to talk to Luth when Orin and the Bright Lord leave, and when Fievel's pacing outside the entryway to the hag's lair, I'm assuming.
You're telling me you have to spend more time with him?
Yes, I'm telling you that, you're probably going to have to spend a little bit of time with him. This is really more of a two-player thing to go, sprinkle some powder on kids, unless you want to be a part of the act.
I do.
Perfect.
Okay, then you can go as well.
Okay.
So, Orin mounts his horse, and then points to Luth's horse, which he says that you may use, Bright Lord.
Ooh, I hop on it.
Excellent. Tyson
Wait.
K is also looking to go.
Yeah, I'm coming with.
So
Get
he
on
points-
back, fireman.
He says, "We have to leave one horse, in case something goes wrong." And he looks at Lothian and says, "You'll be staying here." And Lothian looks to him and just nods. Really no emotion, no expression, just nods.
Tell him I'm a prize stallion. You could have that horse.
So, fireman, you will have to hop on the back of someone's horse, if you're looking to go.
Yeah, I'm going to hop on the Bright Lord's horse.
Okay, and our adventurers take off the way they came, into the swamps. But no more than a few minutes into the ride, you begin to veer towards the northeast, through the mangroves. We're now back over. We're gonna keep things at the swamp with Granny Addie for just a few more minutes. Luth and Lothian are sitting on some logs. The lizard folk children seem nervous, so Luth is trying to create conversation with them, trying to make them feel better. Lothian is making no attempt whatsoever, so he's got no interest
Yeah, he's got the right idea.
help. Oh my gosh, okay. And Fievel. Arta is inside the hag's lair. Smoke begins to billow out of the chimney, which seems to be just kind of built into the tree. You hear the clinking of glasses, the banging of pots, as well as some shrieks. They don't sound like they're human, though, so you're not really sure what they are.
Well, Arta's not human.
They don't sound like they're humanoid, so you're not sure what they are.
Probably the kids screaming.
Oh, no!
So,
Because Luth's probably there.
am I right in front of the doorway type thing?
Well, you're outside.
Okay.
You can be wherever you'd like to be. This is D&D, after all.
I go home.
None of you have homes. We already established your backstories are sad.
Well, I mean, I'm going to try and distract myself, and I'll do some Goodberry and feed Jack Bauer. You know, he's probably frightened. Or no, who am I kidding? I'm frightened. But watching him eat comforts me, so...
It's very Beastmaster of you. I love that. Jack Bauer doesn't give a shit, but I'm scared, so I'm going to take care of Jack Bauer. You know what? Plus another inspiration point, man. You're really playing your character today.
Racking it up.
All right, so you tend to Jack Bauer. The shrieks and screams become louder, and this blackish smoke begins to filter out of the cracks in between the walls, or I should say the outside of the tree and the doorway. So in those small cracks, which obviously aren't airtight, this black smoke, it smells putrid, like sulfur would smell, I suppose, rotten eggs. And the whole little tiny grove that you guys are in, this open clearing, the golems they have no reaction to this. They obviously can't smell shit. But you guys can, and Lothian just places his cloak over top of his face, just to try and like block out some of this stench. And the lizard folk children look very like worried at this. Jack Bauer like turns to look at the tree, but makes no attempt to move or care. It's not toxic in the sense that it seems like it'll kill you, but it's definitely not pleasant to smell.
Okay.
Wait, what if she falls in love with Jack Bauer? Oh God.
We're a team.
Tyson McKay, if you could please keep your keep your comments to yourself. All right. If it's cool with you guys, sorry, continue.
I'm gonna break off more little pieces of cheese. I'm gonna shove 2 in my nostrils to block like the smell, and I'm gonna go over and do the same for the 2 lizard folk children.
Okay, you approach them with pieces of small cheese to put it up their nose. They look at you like you're ridiculous, and then
I point at my nose.
No, they see it. They see 2 large yellow hunks of cheese hanging out of your nose. I guess,
it's not children. Aged. It'll help.
They're gonna let you do it. You put cheese up their nose. Okay. It's really hard to breathe out of there because it's a fucking solid object, not anything that air can pass through. It's not Swiss cheese.
Who do I call to report him?
Yeah, I don't know if this is illegal or if it's just weird. And Lothian looks at you and just shakes his head almost in disgust. Luth looks at you and says, "Does that really work?"
Oh my God.
You want some?
He says, No, I'm good.
Okay.
Gouda.
I'm done.
Excellent.
Revert.
I'm glad we're done with that. We're now over to our players on the road. It is Brightlord, Rogar Ragnak, and Fireman, or should I say Planeswalker Tyson McKay, along with Orin. The ride is by no stretch of the imagination fun. It's a lot of ups and downs. Horses go from ankle deep, or I guess hoof deep, to knee deep in muck, and the mangroves are pretty treacherous. But it's only about 2 hours before you're outside of the mangroves and into the open swamp, back to where the region is very similar to where you guys were with the bullywugs.
I missed this. Last swamp.
The mountains are in sight again, and Orin looks to the northeast and says, "There." And he points to kind of like a fissure, or kind of where 2 bases of 2 mountains meet, right? So kind of like a V shape, a clear opening in the mountains, and he says, "We ride for there."
This is Planeswalker's hometown, huh? No, it's not, but it's where I feel comfortable.
In the mountains, man, you gather more mana there.
More mana? Oh my God, if we get into a fight, and we're good.
Good to know.
Okay, so you guys ride throughout the day, alright? Or the remainder of the day, I should say, as it was about noon when you guys arrived at the camp, which means that it was about 1 o'clock by the time everything was done. So we're looking at roughly 6 hours of travel before dusk, not before nightfall, I should say, and that would put you guys at about half of the distance to the full extent to which you need to go. As you ride through the day, the sun isn't beating down on you or anything like that. This is the swamp. It's very overcast, a little bit of drizzle throughout the afternoon. But as dusk approaches, Orin looks to both of you and says, "Rest or travel?"
I never stop.
Yeah, let's keep traveling.
Okay. He says, "We'll have to tread carefully. The northeast is uncharted."
I'm always careful, Orin. You know that.
Okay, Orin looks to you and says, "Oh yes, I've seen just how careful you are."
Some call me dainty.
No one's ever called you that.
Orin, your voice sounds different.
Oh my god, that was me telling you no one's ever called you dainty. You guys,
Orin, what's happening to you?
He's turning into Hag.
you guys ride through the night. The stars above are Orin's compass, and that is what he uses for his sense of direction. It is...
What's there, that metal thing you got in your hand?
It's not a compass. I said the stars are his compass. Oh my gosh. You guys are terrible today. We are riding towards Grey Tips. It is nearly 4 o'clock in the morning.
Don't laugh, Sam.
When you have reached the edge of the swamp near the base of the mountain range. We are now into a little bit of an odd meeting or greeting of biomes here. So it begins to get rocky with just large puddles all about and some very large tall reeds at the base of these mountains. Orin looks around for a moment in the moonlight and then points where you see a small path, which is at the very base of the mountains. Looks like kind of a single cart or a one cart road, where he says, "There, that's where we'll follow all the way to Grey Tips."
Then let's go.
So the horses clamber up through these very rocky and hilly terrain until they reach the road. Upon reaching the road, Orin says, "We can take it easy from here. No more than a few clicks and we'll be at Grey Tips."
Forks?
I don't know. Slip of the tongue, who fucking knows? Grey Tips.
Break.
So are we hopping off our horses and walking from here then?
You may do as you like, but I'm staying on mine.
Yeah, get off the horse. It's mine now.
No, I'll stay on it as well.
Oh my god.
This is a robbery.
Okay.
I've been playing the long con.
The long con. I intentionally got imprisoned twice so that I could rob you guys. And when the chance came to rob thousands of gold pieces from a bullywug, I said, "No thanks, sir. I've had my eye on something different this whole time."
I am a just thief.
Oh my gosh. The travel takes no more than another hour as you guys now reach the outskirts of Grey Tips. The mining town is in somewhat of a valley between the mountains. It's very small. Looks like there's only about 40 houses or buildings or structures of any kind. Very notably, one large cross wooden beam structure, which is at the back of the town, which seems to bore into the mountain. So undoubtedly, Grey Tips, the local mine. There is a large building which seems to be on the main street, along which all these houses, kind of like Wild West style, like there's one main road, all the houses are kind of along there. There's one very large building, which looks to be a common greeting place or maybe some type of tavern or pub. But other than that, the lights on inside the houses are very few. There's only a couple houses which do have lanterns lit. The others seem completely dark.
I light them.
Light them all.
Jesus.
From 600 feet distance, you do that?
Just create a big fireball and throw it now.
Oh my god, just start to salt the town.
Somebody help.
What is it you guys would like to do? Orin points out that it's Grey Tips, pretty obvious, and then says, "We don't know what house we're looking for, so we'll need to get some intel."
Oh god.
You got it.
The horses begin to just slowly walk down. This is a little bit more of an incline down into the valley, where you guys are headed now. A couple of rocks kind of fall off of some of these heightened overpasses that you're on before you eventually make your way down to the main road. There's no real people out and about it's now 5 o'clock in the morning, but the sun is beginning to rise, and Orin looks to you guys and says, "Tavern," and he points forward. "It's probably open all hours, and we can find out what we're looking for there."
Maybe I can get clothes.
Okay.
This is my whole plan.
Oh my gosh, wait, sorry, are you still in a loincloth?
I sure am, sir.
Oh my goodness.
Was that 10 AC?
Okay, so, well, there's no shops open at 5 a.m., but the tavern is definitely open because it is also like kind of an inn. As you guys approach it, the sign is made of wood, and the name reads the Iron Pick. Pretty unimaginative name for a pretty small
cool.
and out-of-the-way town.
Can I perception check for any drunks inside the tavern?
Yeah, sure, roll me a d20, you're gonna look through the glass.
Yeah, like, look for any, like, passed out drunks.
So he has X-ray vision.
Okay, so that would be 18.
So you peer through the fogged up windows of the tavern of the Iron Pick. Here, you see 4 individuals inside. One, the bartender, or barkeep, innkeeper, whatever word tickles your fancy. He is an older man with a gray beard, which has white at the tips of it, big furry eyebrows, and dark brown eyes. He is cleaning a mug as he is standing behind the bar. There are 3...
Call him Jizbeard.
Don't call him that, please. You then see 3 other individuals. 2 at the bar itself, one slowly drinking an ale, the other one looks like his head is down and passed out. The other appears to be at a booth, which is on the other side of the room, and the individual there appears to also be kind of resting and sleeping on one of the benches at the booth.
Time to wake up.
I got a plan.
Okay. Oren looks to you and says, "What's your plan?"
We should get information from here, sir.
Oren says, "That was my plan."
I don't remember.
Yeah, when he looked and said, "That's probably the tavern, that's where we're going to find the intel," yeah, that's what he meant there.
No, I think this was my plan all along.
To be fair, Fievel told him that before he left. Just want to get that out there.
Okay, it doesn't fucking matter whose plan it is.
Let's walk in.
Oren opens the door and a bell jingles overhead. The barkeep looks up. He looks a little surprised at first, but then quickly covers up that surprise. And as you walk in, the one man who looked like he was passing out kind of like bolts upright. And then he looks to you guys. He's a fairly young man with long brown hair, a little bit chubby. And as he throws his head up to look at you and then jerks it to the left, you can just see that there's nothing going on behind those eyes. He is completely blackout.
Perfect.
The man who's slowly sipping on his ale to the right of him does not even look at you guys as you walk in, and the man who is at the booth is still passed out. So Oren kind of looks around the room and then walks over, takes a seat 3 stools down from the very, very drunken man who looks like a fool, and looks to the barkeep and says, "I'll take an ale." The barkeep looks to him, takes the glass which he had just been cleaning, and puts it in front of Oren, and then pours out an ale for him and says, "Anything else for you, sir?" And Oren says, as he looks to you 2, "I suppose 2 more?" And the barkeep kind of turns his back. Yes, you do. Come on. Why don't you drink?
I don't know if Tyson's ever drank before.
He'll put out his flames.
You don't drink in D&D?
I don't know. He's not that old. He might have.
Your mom just died. You need something to help that.
I don't drink,
have
I don't have
plan
sex,
right now.
and I don't do bad things.
Okay,
I do it all
grab
for the planeswalker.
I grab my drink and I take it over to the booth.
Okay, so you head over to the booth, but Oren stays where he's at. What would you like to do, Bright Lord?
I'm going to sit beside Oren. I'm going to say thank you for the ale.
Wow.
Okay.
What a gentleman.
I say cheers.
Oren nods to him and then looks to the barkeep who's currently got his back turned, but looks like he's going to be making a comeback, turning around any moment. And then he kind of leans in close to you, Bright Lord, and he says, "Follow my lead."
Okay, I follow his lead.
Oren taps on the bar, and then he looks to the barkeep who turns quickly, and Oren kind of flashes his longsword underneath his cloak and says, "I need a moment with this gentleman," he says as he pulls at the scruff of the really drunk guy. The really drunk guy looks super confused and scared, right? He's got this very large knight grabbing onto him, and it is the bartender who looks to him and says, "What, Abe? I've known him my whole life." Oren looks to him and says, "I don't care how long you've known him. I need a word with him." Okay, gosh. Alright, I'll make myself busy in the back for a minute. And then you hear him muttering to himself as he walks to the back, where you hear buckets and water and other types of things just clacking together and splashing, and just this murmuring about being treated poorly in his own establishment. Okay?
Where's my wife?
Fucking treat you poorly. Where is he?
Oren then pulls this guy's cloak upwards, right? His clothing, and he gets like an inch away from his face and he says, "You have some information I want, mate." And the boy, who you now know to be Abe, says, I don't know what you're talking about." "There was a set of twins, girls born a couple days ago. Mother's not doing too well. Father died in the mines, and I want to know where they are." The Adelsons, they're right across the street, 3 houses down. Red door, can't miss it." "Well, thank you kindly." And he kind of then headbutts the guy, The drunk guy who is currently sipping on the ale hasn't looked over this whole time. And when he headbutts the guy, Oren then makes it go like, oh, drunk, he passed out. And he kind of makes it seem like this guy's just passed out of his own accord. And he says, oh, you. And he places his hand on the guy's shoulder who's drinking, who then finally kind of, not even turning his whole head, just kind of leers, like turns his eyes and looks towards Oren. He says, take care of your friend, will ya? And the guy looks to him and says, will do.
So as this is happening, I'm gonna pretend to trip.
Okay, you're sitting at the bench, are you not? Are you sitting at the booth?
I was just gonna walk over. Okay,
so you're walking over.
And then as I walk over, I pretend to trip and spill my ale all over the guy that's sitting there.
Okay. All right, so you pretend to trip and you kind of spill your ale. You don't really have to pretend too hard because, no one's looking at you and the guy there is passed out. The cold ale splashes over the guy who's asleep. He jolts upwards and goes, "Oh, what the fuck is going on?"
Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. So sorry.
So the guy's kind of like blinking his eyes frantically. He's like, "The fucking fuck you! Yeah, foreigner fuck's coming through this town. I swear." And he starts to like stand, but he's way too drunk. So his first attempt lands him back on his ass. But he seems really angry at you.
Sir, your clothes are soaked. Let me get you some new clothes. Give me those ones, and I'll get you new ones. I'll dry those ones out for you, and I'll go get you a new pair.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Oh boy. That'll be a 22.
Oh my god. This guy's drunk, so he's at disadvantage. He's rolling for a little bit of reason right now. Oh god. Okay. His first roll was really bad. That's a 2. And his second roll, well, it doesn't matter. He's at disadvantage. Yeah, his second roll's a 10. And that's not much better even. But with the 2, he says, "What, my clothes?" And he just starts taking them off. like he knows it's a bad call, but he's just doing it anyways. So he takes off his, it's just a white mining shirt with a pretty low cut neck and buttons on it. Or at least there's 2 buttons at the chest. No more buttons further down. And then they're just brown work pants that he pulls off as well. And he says, "Where are your extra clothes?"
I'll go get you some new ones, sir. And I grab the clothes and I run out the tavern.
Okay, roll me. Wait, do you even care about deceiving him, or are you just taking his clothes and running away?
I wanted to deceive him.
Okay, so roll me a deception check.
That's a 10.
So the guy's drunk, but he's not that. I mean, he's drunk as fuck, but he realizes a lie when he hears it. And he's like, "Hey, this guy's stealing my clothes."
No, I swear, sir. I'm just going to get you some new ones. I have some out on my horse.
"Hey, barkeep, this guy's stealing my clothes." It is Oren who takes his iron mug or his tin mug, I should say, of ale. Downing it, he throws it at the guy's head. We're going to roll for the throw. Oh, 17, which is definitely a hit.
Attaboy, Oren.
Yeah. So he knocks him dead center of the head, and the guy passes out again. It's now the only guy who has failed to pay attention or seemingly refused to pay attention to anything so far, who now looks to Oren and says, "You're quite a funny bunch, aren't you?"
What'd you call me? As I'm putting his clothes on.
So roll me a d20, please.
Okay, 11.
Okay, so you're getting them on, but you almost trip and fall over as you hop around trying to put the pants on, saying, "What did you call me?" Oren then looks at the man and says, "How much gold to forget this whole thing?" And the man looks and kind of smirks, and he says, "What do we say to 25?
How about a high five?
No one knows what a high five is here, so that's not really a form of currency. Oren pulls 30 gold pieces out of his pocket.
Oh my god.
Places them on the table in a small pouch and says, 30. And the man nods his head and says, "Never knew you, never saw you, never knew what happened."
I kind of want that gold, though. Can I kill him?
Jesus.
Oh my gosh, please. I mean, again, I'm a DM, so I can't tell you can't do something, but for the love of God, please don't kill this guy.
Can I ask him for his belt?
You can do that if you'd like. I mean, you can also there's a belt on the pants.
Oh, okay. I tighten that belt, because I'm a little thin.
Yeah, you're way thinner than these pants are, so yes, you tighten them. They definitely look way too baggy for you. You just look like someone who's you're wearing stolen clothes. It's pretty obvious. Or you're so poor you can't afford clothes that fit you, which is,
It's both.
Okay, so Orin quickly turns, his cloak kind of billowing as he does so, and he exits the tavern quickly, leaving a few gold pieces for the innkeeper.
I take one of those.
Okay, so you quickly pick up one of the gold pieces for the innkeeper, and you take it, and you now have one gold piece, freed slave.
This has been a great trip, guys.
Oh my gosh, it's like not being invited on a road trip and you're having the best time and everyone else is trying so hard. Oh gosh. You know what? +1 inspiration point for playing to your character. You're not wealthy. You saw a gold piece there and you just decide to take it. I like it. This gold piece is going to have some significance for you. This is the start of your new fortune. You're
will
firmly
frame
believe
this.
I have 125, by the way.
Oh god. Oh, I haven't killed him yet.
Orin has left the inn. What would you guys like to do? Are you following behind?
Yeah, I wave as I leave.
Yeah, I leave as well, but I don't wave.
So Orin looks, and on the street, it's about 5:30 in the morning, and the sun is not fully coming through the mountains yet, but it's definitely becoming dawn, right? Definitely morning time. He looks and does a perception check, relatively easy one, does make it with a 12, and sees the small house 3 doors down with the red door. He approaches it and then does a perception check inside, and then looks to you guys and says, "We'll have to do this quick or wait for nightfall."
It just became day. That would take forever.
Exactly,
Yeah,
which is why we need to move quick.
Why don't we just... I got a plan.
Okay, let's hear it.
What if Brightlord pretends to be a doctor coming in to check in on the kids?
He's wearing heavy armor and he's heavily armored.
It's dangerous times, okay?
He says, "A ruse? Maybe. But perhaps we could just sneak in through one of the windows."
Okay, I'll do it.
He
Oh wait, I can't do it.
No, it can't be you. It has to be the Bright Lord.
I hate these rules.
You can make a distraction in the middle of the town, though.
Oh, I'm good at that.
He says, "You'll have to hurry."
I run out into the middle of the street.
Okay, you're in the middle of the street, far away from... Well, not far away. You're about 50 feet from the house of the Adelstons, which is the family, or the remains of a family, a broken family, with the twin girls. You are now... It's down to you, Tyson McKay. How do you want to proceed?
I'm gonna clear my voice.
Okay.
And then I'm going to mess up my clothes a little bit. They're already a little, they smell like alcohol, a little messed up already.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna start stumbling around. Oi! What the fuck?
Okay, so you start to begin to act like a drunk person.
You guys, Jesus, what's happening to this place?
I looked at Orin, I say, "That's our cue, let's go."
Okay. There are miners which are beginning to exit their homes, wives kissing them on the cheeks before they go off into the mines early in the day. They all begin to kind of crowd around Tyson McKay, who is making a spectacle of himself. They begin to, obviously, you hear them say things like, "Fucking drunks," and, an honest man needs to work, and you're not working, and all this kind of stuff, and you just keep calling them out individually.
I start preaching, "This town's gone to hell. What happened to the good old days?"
Okay, the people are definitely interested in this, and no one is currently looking at the Bright Lord or Orin. So, Bright Lord, there's a window here. If you'd like to try getting in that way, you definitely can.
Yeah. Do you have to roll for that?
Well, no, you can just attempt to open it and see if it's unlocked.
I will do so.
So you attempt to open the window. It slides open pretty easily, and you can now attempt to get in. It's a fairly narrow window, though, so you're going to need to roll me a dex check to see how quietly, stealthily, how impressively you get through this window.
18.
With nary a sound, you make it into the Adelstons' home. And now you find yourself in the main room, so it's kind of like a kitchen/living room. There are 3 doors, one to the left-hand side, one right beside the fireplace, and another one off to the right. There's no sound coming from the house. Everything's eerily quiet, and looks like it hasn't been dusted or cleaned in quite some time. What would you like to do?
Well, better clean this place up.
Oh god, I gotta distract for a long
Outside, you hear Tyson McKay yelling at some guy about how rusty his pick is and how that's no good for mining.
You can't use this. This is garbage. And then I hit the ground and I fall over. Ah!
Okay. What would you like to do, Bright Lord?
I'll do a perception check to see just what's inside the house.
Inside the house, there is a set of armchairs, as well as a rug. Those sit in front of the fireplace. The kitchen, there's dishes which have been untended to, uncleaned. There are some flies kind of buzzing around them. The door to the left appears to be open. It looks like some sort of a bathroom. Definitely not high quality, definitely not very clean. The room dead center, which is to the right of the fireplace, is somewhat open, and you can see that it looks like a bedroom of sorts, and the room to the right's door is closed.
Okay, I will go to the room with the bedrooms.
Are you rolling me a stealth check to do this stealthily?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to. I'll hit someone for you.
Roll me a d20.
A 10.
So your armor is definitely creaking and making sound as you walk over to the door with the bedroom behind it, which you can see. You can kind of peer into the room if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Inside, you see a double bed, or a bed which would have been for husband and wife, and beside it, a cradle. Okay? The cradle, as you can see from your position, it's a very small room, has two small girls. They look very thin and small for their age, and a woman who looks very ill herself, very thin, gaunt in the face, very dark circles under her eyes. Her hair looks thin and wispy. She is asleep with her hand on the bars, the edge of the cradle. What would you like to do?
I'm not cutting her hand.
Both Fievel and I motioned to cut her hand.
Well, Fievel's not
the
there, and
bond.
Tyson, McKay, you're in the middle of your third act, so we've, it's up to you, Bright Lord.
Love, what is it good for?
Absolutely nothing. Say it again now. Okay.
So the mom's laying in the bed, holding onto the crib,
Pass the
Yes.
fuck out.
passed out.
Yes, correct.
Like a drunk.
Okay.
Okay, she's very sick. She's not drunk.
Same thing.
Also, a lot of judgment from the guy who just stole clothes.
He was a dick, okay?
He was asleep.
I guess I'll try and sneak over and just put the powder on without trying to wake her up.
Roll me a stealth check.
7,
How'd your dex?
Okay.
0.
Oh gosh. Okay, so you walk over to the edge of the crib. Don't get me wrong, you make it there, but the woman's eyes flutter open. She looks frightened for a moment and then says, "You're here to save them. Please help my children."
You got it.
From the looks of your house, it looks like you you do need some help. What do you need me to do?
Please, I can't take care of them. I don't think I have long now. Please, they have no one. Take them.
Oh God, I was just supposed to put powder on them, not take them. Would you?
What if
I
you
don't know if
sprinkle-
the witch would prefer if I brought them there or
If
if
you
I
sprinkle
sprinkled
powder
them.
on them
Just grab
and
them.
they die, like what if they die before they become of age?
Yeah, sprinkling the powder on them isn't what's turning them into hags, so
Oh,
Does it make them zombies?
you don't know what it does to them.
Yeah, so you just
Well-
sprinkle it on them.
Well, I don't want the mom to watch. She'd be like, "What are you doing?" I guess
be
I'll
like, "This is
take
a
the
puzzle."
kids
Little
and
pepper.
Just put them in the other room.
I'll take the kids and I tell her that I'll take care of them.
Okay. So, she says, "Come closer, please, so I can gaze upon you."
Okay, I go closer, but I keep my distance at 2 because she's sick.
Okay. You will have to move the cradle a little bit to the right, or down further away from her, so that you can kind of kneel beside her bed.
Okay, pretty
It's
strong.
pretty. No, it's pretty easy, dude. It's a cradle with 2 week-old children in it. They actually don't cry. They're very quiet,
wow.
and probably from being sick, right? You kneel beside her, and she looks at your eyes and says, "You are a good man. Thank you. Thank you so much."
My heart is broken.
Not
She
yet.
says, No, your heart can't break. It's too good for that. Never forget the goodness you've done here.
I feel like an ass. Like,
Deal with it. Fievel does that every fucking day.
What the fuck do you deal with? You wanted to be a king in your town, they said no. Oh my gosh.
since
So-
I feel so bad, I'll say, "Is there anything else I could do for you?"
As you say that, her breathing becomes very weak. She holds onto your hands, and she looks to you and says, "Promise me you'll care for them."
I will, and that's not lying.
Oh,
Like, deception
wow.
check.
That's a light point. You're doing something evil here, you're doing something bad, man, but I feel the goodness in you right now. I know you're Darth Vader right now, and I can feel the good.
Do you feel the goodness in Tyson too?
I never feel the goodness in Tyson, who is currently rolling on the ground, trying to keep someone's pickaxe away from them.
I grab the closest guy to me and I say, "Do you know where my mother is?"
The woman dies, passes away. It seems as though the only thing that was hanging and the only thing keeping her on this realm, keeping her from passing away, was the knowledge that there was no one to take care of her children. And now you're there, Bright Lord, with the two small babes in the cradle. What would you like to do?
I'm your new daddy. God. Well, since the kids are probably malnourished, I'll give my rations to them and split the ration in half and try and feed it.
Babies.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
Yeah,
chew it.
they're
like a
equal.
mama
They
bird.
can't
mush it
do
up.
that.
How? I need to know,
Describe it in detail.
please.
What's in my rations, may I ask?
It's mostly bread and cheese, with some dried meat, all of which babies can't eat. Even if at this point, dude, they're breastfeeding or nothing. So, it's pretty tough for you.
Okay,
Time to pull out the nipples.
Yeah, your Magmore milk's pretty good.
Yo,
Okay,
let's just get it to the hag, and then it's her problem. Actually, we don't even have to. We just sprinkle
Chew the
shit on.
food like a bird, and then.
But he said they can't eat it.
Just sprinkle the powder on them. They'll leave.
Yeah, I guess I'll sprinkle the powder. But before I do, I'm gonna make an oath to go back to them and save them.
Okay.
To who?
To myself.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so no, I like it. The Bright Lord makes an oath to one day return and save the girls from the curse which he has now aided to complete for the hag. You sprinkle the powder over them and they kind of rustle, they move around in their sleep, but they wake up and their eyes open wide and they stare at you in unison together. When they move, and they do, to brush away at their face to kind of just move their limbs, they do so in complete unison, and they continue to stare at you. The pupils of their eyes begin to dilate and become larger and larger and larger until they're completely black. Their eyes are entirely black, where they stare at you and don't stop staring at you.
I yell to Thorin, "There's something wrong with the babies. Come quick."
Oren says, "We don't have time. Did you sprinkle it?"
Yes, their
Let's
eyes
go
are
then,
turning
hurry.
black.
He says, "It doesn't matter. We have to go now." Tyson McKay is currently fending off 3 men from trying to separate him with a pickaxe.
Dark times are coming, my friends. Dark times indeed.
What would you like to do, Bright Lord?
I ask him, "Do I leave the kids here or do I bring them with us?"
I don't know. Choose, but hurry.
I'm bringing them with me.
Okay. You reach for the children, and as you do so, each of them, one with the right arm and one with the left, grab your fingers with increased strength,
Oh God!
and they just stare at you.
say, "Come on, kids! It's time to catch the bus."
Okay, so
Can I roll to see what a bus is?
The wagon bus.
You're not there, so you do not have to do so. The children are holding onto your fingers with incredible strength for a week-old, and they look at you with their unblinking black eyes, and they do not make any attempt to get into your arms or to come with you.
So
Shake them loose.
they don't want to come with me.
It doesn't seem like they're making any attempt to.
Shake it up.
I'll just leave them there then, since they don't want to come with
So
me.
you pull your hands away, and as you begin to back away towards the door, they both sit up in unison at the waist, their
God.
heads following you with these black eyes as they stare. And week-old babies shouldn't be able to do many of these things, dude, but they smile at you as well.
Whoa.
Thorin, the babies are smiling at me in a weird way.
Well, they
says,
don't have teeth, so it'd be weird.
It doesn't matter, let's go!
Okay, I charge out the door.
Okay, so you exit the door. The scene you see right now is 2 men hanging on to Tyson McKay's arms as he's hanging and clutching at a pickaxe close to his chest. He is screaming about the end times, and he is just holding on to this pickaxe.
My father was a miner. And now I am too.
Okay, so you definitely notice, Tyson McKay, that Oren and our Bright Lord have gotten out of the house. So you release the pickaxe, and they drop you to the ground. what you'd like to do now is up to you.
I get up and dust myself off, and I start acting normal. And I say, "Thank you, good sirs. I had a bit of spirits last night. You know what I'm saying."
Okay, so they all like shake their heads and look at you in amazement as you just walk off confidently from them. Your pants really baggy, falling around your and down your ass as you just walk away. So Oren looks to you, Brightlord, and says, "Did you do it?"
I did, but it's very weird what happened.
What kind of weird? Sorry, am I there?
Yeah. You've walked over, and you're now like hands
like
on your
piss.
hips, confidently looking at both of them.
What kind of weird?
Well, I talked to the mom before she died, and she said, take care of them. And then I sprinkled the powder on the kids, and their eyes just turned black, and they did everything in, what is it? It's like...
Unison?
Unison, yeah. They did everything in unison. And before I left, they smiled at me.
I wish I had a mom.
In a creepy way, not...
Stop making this about yourself. Okay, so Oren looks to you and says, "We don't have time to think on it now. We have to return to the swamps.
My heart.
Time is of the essence."
Giddy up.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll ride
so
back.
the team mounts back on the horses and begins to trot off, having completed your deed. You each gain 400 experience points for recruiting the hags.
Wow.
It feels good.
This is a good trip.
Okay, we're now flipping it over to Fievel Mousentrouve. It has been the entirety of the remainder of the day. As you know, these guys traveled through the night, Fievel, so you guys are going to have to make some sort of a camp here. Luth makes a fire for everyone, and Lothian kind of sits at the fire. He prods at it just thoughtfully, and everyone seems kind of on edge. The golems are definitely still there. Sometimes they stand and walk around, shaking the ground beneath them, and Jack Bauer has taken to watching them pretty closely, seeing that they're very large, nearly as large as he is. What would you like to do for the evening? Are you going to stay awake?
Yeah, I'm gonna just kind of like keep an eye on the hut and the golems. I'll just say I'll take first watch to Luth and Lothian.
Both of them nod and turn in for the night. During the night, you hear faint whispers, dark ethereal magic emanating from the tree, from Granny Addie's lair. Sometimes it stops and there's pauses, but other times the voices and the whispers are like almost competing with each other. And it seems impossible that all these sounds could be coming from one humanoid or one person. As the hours go by, the golems eventually sit down, one across from the other, and just stare at you with their soulless eyes.
Stare back.
Okay. So staring back, listening to these dark whispers emanating from there, you can't help but feel like this is quite the pickle you've gotten yourself into. Jack Bauer is dozing off at this point, and Lothian wakes and says, "I'll take over watch."
Yeah, just wake me if there's anything.
"Of course," he says.
I kind of retreat not under Jack Bauer, but like near his like front legs and just kind of curl up in a ball and fall asleep.
So, you've fallen asleep, and it is not until morning time that you wake. When you do so, the fire is smoldering. It's Luth, who is currently awake, Lothian still sleeping, and the lizardfolk children sleeping inside the cart. The golems are gone, no longer there, and as you look to the ground with your keen Beastmaster senses, you see tracks heading off into the swamps. As you wake, there is a whisper of thought in your mind which says, "I'm done."
Oh, God.
All right, well, do my stretch, and then I guess
Clean yourself. You're going to see Arta in a while.
That's true. That is true. Okay, yeah. Let's.
She won't remember this at all, so...
This is the first time meeting. He'll have to clean himself.
No, I'm not going to clean myself. Whatever. We're all dirty. I want everyone to have an equal chance at Arta.
Why do you think I got new clothes?
Okay, so
Booze.
what would you like to do?
So the golems are gone.
Yes.
Let's go knock on the door and see what I created.
You knock on the door, and it opens slowly, and standing in front of you is Arta. She is as she was before attacked and nearly killed by the shambling mound. She stands there. Her eyes are closed currently, and the hag is behind her, her fingers clutching at her, wrapped around her. The hag looks to you. She's not in the sunlight, though there is very little of it. She's in the shadows created by the doorway, and she smiles at you with that toothless smile. snaps her fingers beside Arta's ear, and Arta wakes up. The hag pushes her forward, and the door closes behind her. Arta looks to you and says, "Who are you?" And that is where we end our session for today.
Fievel, love me.
Dark times are coming, my friends.
Ladies and gentlemen, dark times are coming. And I just want to say thank you very much for listening with us tonight. Whether it was morning, evening, noon, or night, I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode of the Dicey D20. As always, my name is Noah. I'm your DM. Joined with our players, our Bright Lord, Rogar Ragnak.
My heart's broken.
Not so bright anymore.
Rogar Ragnak went through a tough time tonight, as did Fievel Mousentrouve.
Sure did.
I think I was the only one that had fun this round.
Playing a drunk in the streets. Fantastic. Well, what better fun is there than being drunk and arguing relentlessly with strangers?
I got gold and I have clothes now. It's been a good fucking session.
I just want to point out we're at a big 1,100 downloads.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, so, if you have friends, share it.
If you have friends.
If you don't,
just
make another account.
I'm your friend.
Download them again. We won't judge you.
Okay, let's stop insulting our listeners. Thanks so much, guys. It's been a fantastic time. This is your DM. Peacing out.
Bye.
Fievel out.
Everyone.
Fievel here. Next time on Dicey D20.
And I light my hands on fire and I said, "We're robbing you, bitch."
The one?
No. Yeah.
How did I get here?
I have a joke first. Lighten up the mood.
No. Is that you're going to roleplay this? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy our podcast here at the Dicey D20, I'm sure you will love Call of Cthulhu. Steampunk podcast that solves mysteries. Been a fantastic time listening to them. So, great friends of the pod here at Dicey D20. We like to shout them out, say if you love us, you'll love them. Take care and have a... Why do you have to ruin every single take?
All background music and audio comes from Tabletop Audio. If you're running your own campaign, visit tabletopaudio.com to find music for any situation.